Welcome to the Rebound Las Vegas, our ongoing series designed to get you back to work and back in business. I'm Trisha Keene. We'll spend the next 30 minutes showcasing hot jobs, talking about ways to keep your family safe, and we'll also look at ways to manage that stress so many are feeling. Here are this week's stories.
Are you going to dance for him?
In Julie McCarthy's 15 months of motherhood,
You gotta show him your smile.
few days have rivaled this one.
I'm just really excited to all of us to be together finally, and be a family again.
Not only is she spending her birthday with her son Calvin,
He's still happy. Smiles, flirts.
she's doing it on a day where doctors have finally deemed him healthy enough to go home from here.
It's just been scary. There was I couldn't tell you the timeline because it all kind of blurs together.
More than 120 days in the hospital, many of them on life support, will do that. It was January when Calvin got his hands on a remote, swallowed the battery inside, and was rushed to the ER.
He was not breathing. His heart had started to slow because he was not ventilating and we weren't getting enough oxygen.
Dr. Stephen Rothenberg was one of the responding surgeons. The battery had started to corrode and erode Calvin's esophagus, and then it did the same to his trachea. A life-threatening situation Dr. Rothenberg had seen more times than he'd like to admit during the pandemic.
A couple calls a week for these kind of things. I know of a couple in the region in the last 6 months who've died from button battery ingestion, so it's very, very serious.
As more parents have stayed home, their kids as well, more hazards have arisen. It's turned normal household items like batteries, pins, Legos, and coins into ingestion items. Kids want something to do while many parents have had to balance watching their kids and working from home.
Most daycare centers understand the risks of many of these things, and those things just aren't available. And so when you're suddenly giving daycare in your home and you're trying to do your job, I think there probably is an increased risk.
But it's not just the hazards, it's the response. According to a study published by the American Academy of Pediatrics last month, ER visits to children's hospitals during the pandemic were nearly cut in half as parents and guardians worried about the virus's spread. It meant many of these life-threatening conditions went unattended.
But if you even suspect it, even if they're asymptomatic, take them right away, because the sooner we get at it, the better chance we have of not having significant injury.
So what do you look out for? Dr. Rothenberg says difficulty breathing, wheezing, and drooling are all signs that your child may have swallowed something that is blocking their airway.
That was probably the scariest night because they're just handbagging him, and so you see this little lifeless body. And
it's what Julie noticed, why she rushed Calvin to the hospital, and why he's still here today.
Smiling, huh?
As the best present a mother could ask for. I'm Dan Grossman.
You have
4 weeks?
3 or 4 weeks.
She's a remote school teacher, an after-school caregiver, and a tax expert.
Will you show me one of your assignments?
Or as Madison calls her, Mom.
Do you want to show me a math one?
Amanda Splitt always enjoyed the juggling act of being a working mom.
I've always known that I was not meant to be a stay-at-home mom.
But seemingly overnight, she became one.
I then got a call from my job that they were laying off about 50% of the company, and I was going to be one of those layoffs. So that was kind of the beginning of the pandemic.
The beginning of COVID-19 changing her life.
10 years that I have been working and working my way up in the industry to then just be gone. So, I remember kind of getting the call and sort of falling to the floor and just being like, what does this mean for me?
For the next few months, she focused solely on helping her daughter with school.
Because trying to do that remote work from home and remote learning with Madison was almost impossible.
Still, she wanted to be equal with her husband, providing for their family.
And putting pressure on your spouse to go, okay, we're gonna do this, and we had to do it as a team.
While they rebudgeted, Amanda applied to job after job. But she kept asking herself one question.
Does it even make sense right now?
Amanda's struggle is one moms across the country are facing.
We are at stake of losing generations of progress for the working woman in our country.
Nicole Reel and Kristen Strom are working moms themselves, studying how the pandemic is hurting women in the workforce.
In the Great Recession, our last major recession as a country, women accounted for 30% of the jobs lost. Flash forward to today. Women this last year have lost over 55% of the total jobs. We've dubbed this the she session.
A Across the country, 4.6 million women are out of work. 2 million are still unemployed, but the other 2.6 million women report they've stopped looking for jobs because of demands at home.
A lot of moms who have just kind of gone, this is my reality right now, and it's not going to be our reality forever. But I think it's just, we felt like we needed to step up.
That was like the quickest game of Uno I've ever seen.
It really was.
Half the parents who left the workforce during the pandemic haven't gone back yet because of the cost of childcare.
Things like flexible schedules or remote working options are really helpful for working parents. It's also critical that companies normalize a culture that supports working families.
A supportive workplace is even more critical to Amanda with her second baby on the way.
As much as I loved working and being in the workplace and doing corporate America, the normal was not normal. It was not what I want to necessarily go back to.
So for now, she's staying home and doing some tax work when she can to help, finding that this different sense of normalcy can be a good thing.
Maddie Ray.
I'm Alexa Liaco reporting.
The race to get more Americans vaccinated moved into a new phase this week, with Pfizer applying to move its COVID vaccine from emergency use to full FDA approval.
For a lot of people who are on the fence, who are worried about, well, is this an emergency use? Should I get vaccinated? It will give them confidence.
Confidence that currently appears to be lacking, with the number of COVID vaccinations starting to slow down in the U.S.
You're trying to reach people who are, quote unquote, harder to reach.
Dr. Bruce Y. Lee is the senior author of a new study from City University of New York, Baylor College, and Johns Hopkins. Using computer modeling, they looked at the high cost of low vaccination rates. Right now, about 1/3 of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated. If that gets to 40%, the U.S. could prevent 24.3 million COVID cases and save $33 billion in medical costs and productivity losses. If that number reaches 70%, so-called herd immunity, the U.S. could prevent another 9.5 million COVID cases and save $11 billion.
Certainly one of the goals is to try to reach as close as possible to herd immunity thresholds.
Researchers found even small increases help. Once 40% of the U.S. is fully vaccinated, every 1% increase above that could prevent 1.6 million COVID cases, 60,000 hospitalizations, 7,100 deaths, and save $2.1 billion.
This emphasizes the fact that we just need to get more and more coverage. And even if we can't reach herd immunity thresholds immediately or soon, there's still significant benefit for increasing vaccination coverage.
The study also found the timing of when people get vaccinated could also play a critical role.
We've observed that the virus probably has at least some degree of seasonality, meaning that transmission of the virus seemed to pick up when the weather got colder or less humid. And if that's the case, then it's really important to get people covered before the weather turns again.
A race against time with a virus still making the rounds. I'm Maya Rodriguez.
As parents know, the occasional art project at home can be a nightmare to clean up.
But one Las Vegas business is offering families a great space to get messy and still be creative. 13 Action News reporter Kelsey McFarland shows you where to go in this latest edition of We're Open.
Here you can kind of get messy and just have more fun and relax and connect with them.
Chelsea Bailey says art should be a time for bonding, not a time for rules like keeping your area clean. That's why she created Mi Amor Art on Grand Canyon Parkway near Flamingo.
They can go crazy and have fun, and then we take care of the mess as well.
Here, families can paint, make slime, play in fake snow, and even crack open a muddy dinosaur egg and find a surprise inside. Chelsea says her studio is all about providing a creative space families can enjoy outside the home.
There's just a little bit of everything for everyone.
Chelsea signed the lease for this space in February of last year. Unfortunately, everything closed a month later due to the pandemic. But Chelsea says she feels embraced by her fellow Las Vegans.
It has been surprising, and we've been doing pretty well. Really, I'm thankful to still be open. I know some people weren't as lucky, so I just feel grateful.
The space is available by the hour and is big enough for lots of innovative young minds. But Chelsea admits kids aren't her only clients.
I have a lot of adults that come in, sometimes without kids.
But that's okay. Chelsea says art is for every age, and she hopes to provide a space to arouse the creativity within all of us.
Art is so timeless, I feel like. It's almost like in our souls, kind of. Not to be cheesy, but it takes down like the guard you have up, and you just connect easier with the person you're with.
Kelsey McFarland, 13 Action News.
I'm Kalina Estrinos, and here are some jobs available now.
Wolf Auto Repair is hiring an auto mechanic / auto technician. 2 years of experience and experience repairing European cars is required. And NCI Group Inc. is hiring a district sales manager. Must have a thorough understanding of the pre-engineered steel construction process and products. If you're looking for a job or you have a job available, please visit ktnv.com/rebound and submit your job there.
Welcome back to the Rebound Las Vegas. For more details on any of the stories that you're watching today, visit our website, ktnv.com/rebound.
No worries. How have you been feeling, okay?
Like the end of the scissors she cuts with, Shelly Albro likes to get straight to the point.
So tell me, am I just giving you a cleanup today?
We first met Shelly in 2020. She'd been struggling to stay afloat during COVID-19.
We were open 7 days a week down to 5.
So this small business owner decided to think outside the box,
No cords.
which led her literally outside.
So how's your day going, Tom?
Gents Barbershop joined many across the country in offering clients outdoor haircuts.
When I saw this picture, I was like, that's it. I got to do this outside thing for those people like me who are nervous to go inside.
These days, there's still a lot of demand for those outdoor haircuts.
There's still a lot of people that are very, very nervous to come inside.
Only problem is, Shelly hasn't been feeling like herself lately.
I wanted to do my outside barbershop, but I need to wait until I get some energy back.
In the middle of the pandemic, when this 48-year-old thought COVID was the only thing she had to be worried about,
When is it going to end, huh?
she was hit with this news.
On December 2nd, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Like so many other Americans, this small business owner has had no other choice but to show up for work every day. She can't get her COVID vaccine because of the chemo, but she also can't stop working.
My immune system is junk. What are you going to do? You can't just stay at home and lock yourself in the house.
Nearly 15 months into this pandemic, there are still clients coming here to get their first post-quarantine haircut.
People have been coming back in who I haven't seen in more than a year with hair, I have to cut about 6 inches off.
And Shelly gets it. With a compromised immune system, she understands why so many people are still afraid to leave the house. Many states, including New Hampshire, where Gents Barbershop is located, have dropped their mask mandates, putting workers like Shelly potentially at risk.
I don't go anywhere. I still haven't eaten inside a restaurant. Just very careful.
Without those outdoor haircuts, Shelly is doing whatever she can to accommodate clients. She's staying late so families can come in alone, even schedules a few extra minutes just to keep people company.
That's not good for them to be isolated like that, so we'll spend 10, 15 minutes extra with them.
Like a good haircut, Shelly Albro is ready for COVID-19 to fade away.
You can't stress about stuff you can't control.
Until then, she'll be here giving her customers
Clean you up.
much more than a cut.
We'll get through this, right?
I'm Chris Conti.
I'm Kalina Estrinos, and here are some jobs available now. Western Management Group LLC is hiring a guest service representative. 1 year of customer service experience is required. High school diploma also required. And Bimbo Bakeries USA Inc. is hiring a warehouse associate. Must have a high school diploma and be at least 18 years old. If you're looking for a job or you have a job available, please visit ktnv.com/rebound and submit your job there.
Welcome back to the Rebound Las Vegas. For more details on any of the stories that you're watching today, visit our website, ktnv.com/rebound.
Stephanie Donner needs the internet.
I'm still out of work.
We gave her the link to the federal program that pays $50 a month of people's internet bills.
Anything will help. $50, that's money in your pocket.
So she applied.
Should have come out much earlier this year.
The $3.2 billion Emergency Broadband Benefit Program will help pay for internet service to those who qualify for most other federal assistance programs. Others who qualify include single people who made up to $99,000 last year and couples who made up to $198,000, providing they prove they made less in 2020 than in 2019.
Before you get started, you'll need some documents. For example, for ID, you'll need your driver's license or other forms of ID to upload. Also, be prepared with your 2020 and 2019 tax returns.
If you qualify, the federal government will send the $50 directly to internet providers. So if Stephanie Donner makes the cut, she'd have to pay just $20 instead of her usual $70 monthly bill for service vital to her job search.
They won't talk to you on the phone. They want to do Zoom interviews. And without the internet, I can't apply for a job.
The federal government will pay monthly bills until funding for the emergency broadband benefit runs out. In Boca Raton, Dave Bowman, WPTV News Channel 5.
I'm Kalina Estrinos, and here are some jobs available now. Navy Federal Credit Union has a full-time position open in its member services. The job is located in Henderson, must be a team player. And the Salvation Army Southwest Division is hiring an HR assistant, must have strong computer skills and be detail-oriented. If you're looking for a job or you have a job available, please visit ktv.com/rebound and submit your job there.
Welcome back to the Rebound Las Vegas. For more details on any of the stories that you're watching today, visit our website, ktnv.com/rebound.
For Adina Crawford,
been cycling for a long time,
and Suzanne Webb,
everybody's friendly, they're open.
This is more than just a bike ride.
It's a real family, real community.
The duo, part of the cycling group Black Girls Do Bike.
More women of color coming out to ride for the sense of enjoyment, fellowship, connection, and learning and growth.
It wasn't always that way. Cycling, like some other sports, still struggles with diversity. Black Girls Do Bike wants to shift gears.
Their goal is to get more women of color on the bike, right? And to get them more engaged in a community where they're familiar with and people that look like them that they're familiar with.
It's a familiarity people are looking for now more than ever since the pandemic began.
I think part of socializing and socialization is people who are like-minded flock together. So, we know the term birds of a feather flock together. I think it's definitely reflected in how people interact.
Hedwig Lee is a sociology professor and co-director of the Center for the Study of Race, Ethnicity, and Equity at Washington University. She says people from similar backgrounds often come together because of a shared adversity.
In certain kinds of social settings, they have been not always accessible to African Americans, and biking is one example. And so in those cases, I think it's really important for people to see other people who look like them, to feel comfortable, to feel welcome in those spaces.
Spaces that the pandemic limited for everyone, isolating people in ways they're only just starting to roll out from under.
The fact that there are women like me out riding and saying, hey, if you need help, I'm here to help you change a tire, whether it's changing your tire. It's like I said, it's a real community. I think it's important to share your story, your experience, your downfalls, your uphills, all of those things to share so to let the person know that's coming in, they're not alone.
Not alone as they ride on their journeys. In Damascus, Maryland, I'm Maya Rodriguez.
That's the sound of Tombstone returning to business.
Gal's gotta do what a gal's gotta do.
The famous gunfights are back, and so are the crowds. Excited to get a taste of the Wild Wild West.
We were set back with the amount of people that came out. I mean, we had sold out shows 3 times a day.
An old Tombstone Western theme park owner, Lee McKechnie, says he saw the busiest spring in his 20 years of business. But tourism wasn't booming this time last year. The town was a ghost town.
You can look down the street and there'd be tumbleweeds running down the street on a Saturday morning.
Mayor Dusty Escapol says everything was closed for about a month to a month and a half. In fact, the Chamber of Commerce says there were absolutely no visitors in April of 2020. But this year, there were more than 4,100 visitor check-ins.
It's so encouraging to see this many people coming to our town. Monies are being spent in our town, and it's just going to be a wonderful thing, and only better things can keep happening.
So while tourists board the back of a stagecoach to see the true history of the Southwest,
is the OK Corral, not where the gunfight happened.
Mayor Escapol says his town isn't going anywhere.
We have the motto of the town too tough to die, and we are the town too tough to die.
Tombstone is open to tourists 7 days a week. Sierra Encinas, KGUN 9 on your side.
Thanks for watching The Rebound Las Vegas on your favorite streaming device. If you missed any part of this week's program, just hit the back button on your remote and scroll down until you see The Rebound, and you'll find every segment we aired in this episode. Stay tuned for more from 13 Action News after the break, and check us out anytime here on KTMV Streaming, Las Vegas News on your time.